Hello, my name is John, and together with my colleagues John and James, we are hoping to introduce you to big data and the challenges which have come to light and the problems which may arise going forward with big data. Before going any further, perhaps it would be prudent to first outline what we mean when we say big data. Big data refers to data sets which are too large, too complex, and being collected far too quickly for traditional relational database management systems to process and analyze in any meaningful way. This data has increased exponentially since the dawn of the so-called digital age, to the point where today, every 2 days, we create as much data as we created from the beginning of time until the year 2000. In fact, by 2020, the amount of digital data created and available for analysis is expected to rise from 5 zettabytes today to 50 zettabytes. That's over 50 billion 1 terabyte hard drives of data. But where's this data coming from? Sources of data generally fall into 3 categories. Social media sites like Facebook, Twitter and Instagram produce massive amounts of data every minute of every day. Snapchat users, for example, produce over 2 million snaps every minute. This data can be particularly attractive for sales and marketing, but can be very difficult to analyze due to the generally unstructured form of data produced by social interactions. Publicly accessible data sets are available from many diverse sources, like the World Health Organization, and many governments around the world have massive, freely available data sets concerning health, climate, crime, population, and the economy, amongst other topics. Streaming data is data that is being continuously generated by millions of sources. These sources can be from devices logging in real time, economic and financial transactions, banking transactions, or from medical devices in hospitals around the world. Streaming data is increasingly being derived from new connected devices we now call the Internet of Things. The main challenge with data of this type is that it is being generated so quickly that anyone seeking to find any meaningful, actionable patterns in the data must also be able to analyze the data very, very quickly. When discussing big data, people often like to categorize it into 3 aspects, or the 3 V's, which typically define big data. Variety, the type which you might find in publicly available sources. Volume, seen in the massive amounts of data generated by social media. And velocity, data created at an increasingly high rate with streaming data. It is these 3 aspects and the challenges they present which as a team we wish to discuss further. I will be discussing velocity, James volume, but first here's my colleague John to talk about variety.
Hi, my name is Ioannis Kim, and I'm going to talk about variety as a challenge of big data, issue and challenges of big data in different fields like commerce, scientific research, and society administration. Variety is a component part of 3-dimensional big data that describes the range of data types and sources. Referring to data types, there are 3 forms of data. Structured data are contained in relational data base and spreadsheets. Unstructured data cannot be easily classified, like emails, videos, audio, or PDFs. Semi-structured data are data from web applications such as weblogs. Taking into consideration that unstructured data is 80% and structured is just 20%, there are a series of problems in order to accumulate, fetch, secure, and access it. The issue and challenges of big data in commerce and businesses are collection, analyzing, and matching. The problems of big data and scientific research are lack of automated analysis and storage of all data. The issue of big data in society and administration are lack of finance, lack of research and development, increasing data variety in health and public sectors.
Hello, my name is James, and today I'll be talking about the problems large volumes of data can cause. In 2010, Thomas Reuther estimated the world had over 800 exabytes of data. That's 800 followed by 18 zeros, while hardware company EMC said the figure was closer to 900 and would grow by 50% year on year. No one knows exactly how much data is actually being collected, but everyone agrees data is growing exponentially. Big data is present across most industries, I've chosen 3 areas to illustrate the volumes of data involved. In science, CERN is the European Lab for Research into Particle Physics. The Large Hadron Collider generates so much data that it's too large to record everything. For that reason, they're required to filter the data they want to store and analyze. In 2017, the CERN Data Center passed a milestone of 200 petabytes of backed up data. In social media, Google are said to have an estimated 10 exabytes of active storage. And in 2013, there are over 3 million pieces of content generated on Facebook every day. And finally, in national security, the NSA in 2013 estimated that they collect 29 petabytes of data per day. That's about 1.6% of the estimated daily internet traffic. One of the main challenges of big data is the handling of enormous volumes. For that reason, specialized software is being developed to handle these large volumes. The open source Hadoop framework splits big data and distributes it across many nodes for parallel processing in a cluster. Other software can take advantage of Hadoop and does take advantage of Hadoop to process large amounts of data. Here you can see some of the other software products commonly used to store, query, and analyze big data.
Velocity. When we consider velocity, we are talking data which may only be in the order of kilobytes in size, but is being generated simultaneously by hundreds of thousands of sources. The biggest issue when dealing with real-time data is that it changes so very quickly that in order for data to be of any value, it must be collected and rapidly processed to find useful patterns or trends while they're still relevant. In order to achieve this, the batch processing system used with high volume and variety is dropped in favour of a streaming data software like Apache Kafka, which processes every event sequentially as it arrives. In fact, the data is processed and analysed before it ever arrives at a data warehouse. From a networking perspective, the massive amounts of incoming data generated by social media or IoT sensors will present a challenge to any network administrator dealing with big data. This level of network activity means any downtime, no matter how small, could have big implications, and the efforts should be made to partition big data from other business traffic in order to shield mission-critical systems from possible congestion.
In conclusion, big data is being increasingly generated from different sources and at increasing velocity, which can impact networking capacity and configuration. Higher velocity might generate other big challenges, especially when dealing with streaming data or social media. Taking in consideration that the volume of big data is growing fast in areas like social media, national security, and science, collecting and storing up to 29 petabytes per day, obviously there is an urgent need of specialized networking software, storage centers, and professionals to control those processes. One way to meet the challenges of big data regarding variety is investment in new big data tools like data analytics and combination of machine learning and advanced algorithms. Thank you very much.